Hello everybody, it's me Lamani. I'm glad to be back. Happy Tuesday. Sorry no video yesterday. I got a puppy. He's been a lot of work. We changed up the schedule a little bit. But this week I want to start things off with a different little mini series. Something I'm going to call Healing 101. So from now on, class is in session. I'm going to be teaching you the basic things that you need to know to be a healer. And today we're just going to start off with basic tips and settings and general gameplay guidance so that if you are somebody who's looking to transition into the healer role, you will have everything you need so that you can succeed. This will also help people who've been healing for a while. Maybe they just need a little bit of extra guidance, and this will clear some things up. So I'm going to cover some just frequently asked questions, some things that I just think are absolutely necessary when you start your healing journey. So before we get going, I just want to say thank you all for your support every single day, whether it's a follow, a sub, a dono, anything, just lurking in my Twitch, anything you do, I appreciate you. I just want you to know that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. As always, if you keep doing that weird YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to connect with me, feel free to leave a comment. I've been a little bit behind. I've been busy. I apologize. I will get to them. Drop me a DM. Lots of DMs I got to get through. Follow me on Twitch. I stream somewhere between 10:30 to 11 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Central Time, and I go for about 5 hours. And if you want to follow my TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff, go right ahead. And I have a Patreon if you're interested to support me that way. I drop extra gameplay footage, other ideas. I ask for input, and it's just another way to communicate with me if you would like. So, as always, thank you for everything. Now, let's get into this video. It's a little bit different. I'm going to lay out my big things that I think you need to know. Leveling life staff, settings, general gameplay tips, just everything I've kind of compiled, but in a way for somebody who's just trying to start this journey. So let's dig into it first with life staff leveling. I think this is a big one. All right, so a lot of people ask me, how do you actually get your life staff to 20? There's a couple things I'm going to cover here, right? I'm going to cover what I did versus what I think you should do now. But in general, what it's going to do is it's going to start with a build. So for leveling your life staff, I think the best thing you can do is either go in a group, or if you're looking to solo it and do it, you're going to want a little machine gun build. And what do I mean by that? Here's what I would do. I would basically just run the no targeted healing build that we've discussed in the past. We go something like this, go here, go all the way down to this. We'll take these points, and then it's kind of up to you. This doesn't matter as much. I'm sure you can do something like this. Honestly, you don't even need this, and we could probably go here and here if you just want to give it a little bit extra healing. So I would suggest doing something like that. Now, why would I actually do this? So for me, this is what I used all the way from 1 to about 39. This is the build setup. And what I did was I only played with my life staff. So this is number 1 on how I would actually level it, kind of just in general. You either start off with your life staff and you are leveling straight from level 1. So from 1 to like 40, you can get it to level 20. Now, what do? You heavy attack into beacon, heavy attack into orb, right? That combo should do a lot of health, and then you're literally just left clicking. This one's going to set you up the most to have the most attack cooldowns possible, especially with orb. Orb's a big chunky one, and you just keep animation canceling with it, right? So you're going to do the best when you're soloing with this build to really grind out life staff levels. So option number 1 for leveling is start off with it right away and kill absolutely everything with it through the leveling process. Sure, things are going to die a little bit slower, but by the time you hit like 39, 40, you're going to be like, all right, I'm glad I did that. Now, this same kind of method still applies to anybody who's hit level 60. If you are level 60, you can still run this, but what would I do? You have a couple options. You could go to an area like Dead Man's Cove and Monarchs, or we could go to Brightwood, which is one of my personal favorites, and level over here on the Brightwood Isle, or we could do our Restless Shore ones and try and group up things. But the issue that comes down to is there isn't really any AoE with the life staff. So that's why I'm really suggesting this kind of build. So what I would do is if I'm level 60 looking to level my life staff, so these ugly marks all over my map for quests, go start doing quests, run this build, and everything you encounter, just destroy it. Okay? That is probably my best way to suggest doing it. Alternatively, I'm going to say for option like 3, go just group grind, okay? Just jump in there, farm elite zones, and you just need to only use your life staff. At the end of the day, these 3 different ways, it is just simply only using your life staff. We don't want to split up any of that XP. Just keep the life staff out. It's going to be a little bit of a grind, but it is definitely going to be worth it. Now, the stats for leveling, honestly, it doesn't really matter as much. Just pump as much focus as you possibly can to get the highest damage output. That is what I'm going to say. just do that. It'll make a lot easier. So anybody who's asked me, how do you actually level the life staff? Use this build, okay, TLDR, use this build and just use it like it's a little machine gun and go clear your quests. It's going to be the most effective way because it's a little tougher to solo elites. It's going to be faster. Just kill everything along the way. All right, now the next thing I get asked probably 10 times a stream is, what are your healing settings? So I think I have the setup that's best for a beginner, a pro, anybody who's in the healing game, that will give you enough solo control so you're able to maneuver and reposition when needed, but also being able to see and lock onto your teammates as needed, right? So going into it, what am I doing here? Scroll into our settings. Targeted healing. I have that on. We need that to target people, okay? So big one. Freeform camera and camera aim retargeting. These are the ones where you're going to see the most drastic impact, in my opinion. So first one, freeform camera. I turn that on. Why? Well, watch what happens when I turn it off. Okay, this is what my camera looks like when I'm trying to heal. When I'm locking onto people, it's doing this. Anybody I lock onto, it's spinning me around in circles. That will make you vomit in a pile and make you wipe, all right? That I just did not love, so I turned it off, right? Or sorry, I turned it on, but it makes it so it now does this. I can go around, do this. I can heal him when he's behind me. I can still look around. I can reposition. I can see my feet. It gives you a ton of self-control because you still have to be in charge of yourself, but also watch your teammates. So there's that. That I think is the most influential one. Now the next one, it's only really going to apply if you do leave that freeform camera on, but camera aim retargeting. So what does this do? This makes it so when I'm targeting somebody, when I'm moving my mouse, it's targeting new people. That for me is just not great. And so I turn it off because I'm not using the camera, or I am using the camera aim retargeting. So we just leave it like that. I think it's just the simplest. I don't throw up. It's easy. I use my mouse wheel. I don't love the mouse wheel, but it's our best option. Then the rest of these, just do it as I do it. It makes more sense when you're starting off. It's going to be easier. You don't really need to lock onto other people. And having this lock via middle mouse button without a healing spell active, it's whatever. The healing settings need some work, but I think the biggest one then after all of those is group mode. When I am PvE healing, it is essential. If you have group mode on, please put group mode on for PvE. It will then allow you, when you have all the names in the top left corner, whenever you're healing people, I'm not in a party right now, but it will scroll in order, okay? So leave group mode healing on. If you are a PvP person, please turn it off so that you can actually heal every single person within your OPR, war, whatever you're doing. Okay, I also use that when I'm healing out in the world. I just keep it off so that I can go around and do stuff like this. I'll just show you. I know I was targeting other people. That's because I'm not in a group right now. But the big thing when you have group mode off is, I'm just going to invite this guy and I'll show you. Hopefully he accepts it. One of these guys. I need somebody just to accept a group invite. So watch. I'm not just going to only lock onto him. I'm locking onto this person who I'm looking at. I'm looking at this person. I'm looking at this person. We're good. Now, if I turn group mode healing on like I want to for a PvE situation, just a little demonstration here, we turn it on, it will only go between us, but watch, it's in order. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Can't heal anybody else. So that's, I think, the most influential setting, the biggest one, I think, whenever you're trying to learn how to heal, is having a setting that you can switch between people in your group and out of your group. Other than that, what else am I doing healing settings wise? I think the one other thing that I want people to know is get comfy with a self-healing modifier, okay? I have a target self. It's bound to my mouse button here. So what does this allow me to do? It allows me to heal myself like this, right? A lot of people, they will cast the heal and then hit their button, and then it'll heal on self, okay? It's a lot clunkier. If you hold your self-heal macro, whatever you choose to bind it, and then hit your own heal, then you do it on top of yourself. It's just the easiest way. If I have Light's Embrace on, I heal myself when I'm holding it. You want to hold self modifier, then press the ability. That is all I would say for healing settings to make your job the easiest. Now, I think this one deserves a special section because this is kind of the problem is with New World. When I'm targeting people, how am I scrolling through? It's my scroll wheel. Okay, scroll wheel healing is one of the toughest mechanics to get used to. You will over scroll, you will miss heals on people, and I think it's just important to cover. So I think when you're scroll wheel healing, here's my tip to you. Have a mouse that isn't just free spin, otherwise you're gonna be donezo. Click it, right? You get each click at a time and just let it roll up, right? I'm going 1, 2, 3. Don't freak out when you're trying to heal other people. But what I want you to know and why I want to cover it separately is that you can rebind your cycle target. let's say you aren't super confident with it. Let's say I want to switch it to this on my mouse or on my mouse, right? I can unbind this and I could go that, we could do something like this. I'm going to unbind it. I'm going to do mouse 5 and then I'm going to do this for mouse 4 and I'll rebind those things later. But let's say I lock onto them. Now I'm using my mouse buttons and I can switch it, right? So I can keep clicking it and cycle between that way. It doesn't have to be mouse wheel if you don't want it to be. Play to your strengths. All right, there's 2 more things I want to cover. So one is just what's a good healing build when you're just starting off with the game, you want to get used to it, and you want to start learning all the different mechanics there are to healing. I would say, honestly, run the build I've been using the whole time with the Mending Protection change, the one that's really solid with your Void Gauntlet. You can pick whatever secondary weapon you want, but when it comes down to healing, use something like this, okay? I can walk you through this if you're interested. I have tons of other build guides on it if you haven't seen my channel. Go ahead, run something like this. Why would I do it? Well, for starters, you have one of the strongest heals in the game being Sacred Ground, and you have one of the strongest single target healing abilities in the game, which is Light's Embrace. And this gives you a very diverse mix of targeted healing and non-targeted healing. We have Orb of Protection, which with Mending Protection is absolutely insane now. So we have some of that, and it's on a low cooldown, so you can really use that. It teaches you, okay, I can scroll around. I can also use this and cast it on top of me if I need to position it that way. And then it gives you the burst healing potential of an actual heal. It gets you used to the targeted healing system. Another one that you can just cast on yourself. It's on a low cooldown. This is a very rewarding and not a very risky build. You get a ton out of it. It's great for mutators, great for general expeditions, and it should get you through any kind of healing content as you're starting the game. I wouldn't use this necessarily like for leveling. I covered that earlier, but when you're actually starting to heal, use this setup. It will teach you how to get used to your cooldowns. It gives you enough coverage and enough buffs that your Light's Embrace is going to hit extremely hard, and Sacred Ground is the best AoE heal we have to offer. So this is the build I would really suggest everybody starts off with, and now I'm going to use this as kind of a baseline for giving you general tips on how to actually play as a healer in an expedition setting. All right, so this would be healing 101 if I didn't actually teach you how to heal. So what do you do as far as healing cooldowns, kind of keeping your group topped off? Well, the first thing I want to address is your light attack, right? Blissful Touch, believe it or not, is one of the strongest heals that you have. It's free. You can shoot it through everybody. So whenever you are damaging the boss, try to be shooting through your team just to get some extra topping off heals. You'll hit them for a couple hundred. It is fantastic. So make sure you're positioning as a healer on top of your team and shooting through them. Now, when it comes to cooldowns, what do? Typically in my loadout, I always have a heal over time. That and this one is Orb of Protection. My heal over time, I just try to keep on top of everybody, maintain the group health so that we don't have any issues, right? The biggest thing with heals over time are they are preemptive, right? They are more of a proactive heal than a retroactive heal. You are trying to negate damage that is going to come and allow them to passively heal up. So with Orb of Protection, it has a 24-ish second fortify, but the heal over time is only about 14 seconds. So you can pretty much throw one down in the melee and then throw one down in the range, and you never have to throw one on yourself because it will go on you with the trait that you have when you heal somebody with it. So it's best when everybody's stacked up to try and hit your orb down so everybody gets the buff. In general, maintain your heal over time and the fortify it gives. Sacred Ground. Sacred Ground I do a couple things with. Hold it, don't use it super liberally, but keep it on your tank if they're taking a lot of damage. It is a huge burst heal, does a lot of healing, and maintains everybody. Try to put it in a spot where everybody's going to be able to stand in it. But the big thing is I hold it for explosions or big AoE damage because it also has a fortify component on it. So even if I throw it down, they get a tick of it. They also get fortify, and that helps negate further damage for a little bit. So Sacred Ground, use it in AoE. Either save it for high damage situations or just keep it down in the tank. Don't just hold it and lose the cooldown. It'll come back relatively fast if you're on a boss fight, so you can be a little bit more liberal with it. But in general, try to keep it in the back pocket and position it in a spot where everybody can actually use it. Light's Embrace is the last one. It's pretty easy. If somebody's just taking a couple thousand damage, pop it on them, right? You can use it if nothing else is happening, but typically I just keep shooting Blissful Touches and light attacking the boss instead to top them off and heal them with my heals over time between Sacred Ground and Orb. But Light's Embrace, keep in the back pocket because you don't want to use it when they're not hurt enough so that you can't use it when they're about to die. This can heal up to 9k, crazy numbers, so keep it ready. I'm not going to lie to you, healing, it's not super hard, right? There wasn't a ton I had to cover in gameplay, but I just want to give you some necessary starter things if you're looking to start healing in mutators. What I'm hoping to do with this series is then address further things like gearing, stats, and get really down into the thick of it so that you can all succeed. So what I want to do is if you have any questions, drop a comment. I'll be answering all of them specifically for this video before I go back to all the other ones, or drop me a DM. As always, if you want to connect with me, feel free to leave a comment, DM me in Discord, follow our socials, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, follow us on Twitch. We stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 10:30 a.m. Central Time and go for about 5 hours. Follow us on Patreon. If you're not sure what I do on Patreon, you can go ahead, head over there, and I do early video releases. I connect with people. I give more gameplay footage of other things that I'm playing. And it's just generally another avenue to connect with me. So as always, thank you to all of my Patreons. Thank you, Jacob, Thuggia, Shane, Gil, Anarino, Adro, Nathaniel, Thonar, Joseph, Generic Guy, Ronan, Ralph, Bob, Florian, Blue Beagle, GDB, J Kitchens, Dexter, Rich, Josh, Michelle, Nade, Rich, and Somanex. Thank you all for your support, but thank you every single one of you for just watching. I appreciate you. Please keep doing that weird YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. I would appreciate it. But as always, I hope this helps you to get your feet wet. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you all for being you.